How's everybody doing?
Okay,
How
how's
are you,
everybody
Jeffrey?
there in wherever land you are in?
Oh yeah, my permissions are not letting me turn on my camera.
Let's see, is it exactly, should we wait for one more minute for everyone else? Or
A
should we
lot of people here.
Yeah, let's wait. How many are 47? Yeah, wait a few more minutes.
Wow.
Oh, it's 3:01 already.
Wow. This is so exciting, and you know, we wouldn't have been able to do this a year ago, or, I mean, this is like a new world for all of us to see each other from all parts of the world and land and sea, and to get to not only know each other, but also to see each other's beautiful artwork. So maybe I should. Okay, there I am. I have to see myself when I talk, otherwise I feel like I'm talking in the ether.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight the speaker. I can ask if everybody can mute their mics until it's their turn to speak, just to keep things a little bit less with cross volume and all that stuff. So I'm just gonna introduce Ronnie Sherman Ramos right now. She's our co-gallery president, and she will take over from here.
Okay, and nobody introduced Martha. That is Martha. She is our gallery manager and chief cook and bottle washer, and she is wonderful. And if you've been here to the gallery, you might have actually encountered her. How many people have been able to see the show in person? Wow, terrific, terrific. That's great. Just a little bit of intro about Atlantic Gallery. It was actually founded in 1974, 47 years ago. And it's called Atlantic Gallery because it began in Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue. And since then, it has traveled to Manhattan and had many homes in the west side of Manhattan. And today, it is located in the Landmarks building on 28th Street between 10th and 11th Avenue on the 5th floor. And it's an artist-run gallery. We have 15 members right now. And it's a pretty special place. The gallery is a beautiful physical space and has had some remarkable and wonderful shows in the entire time that we've been there since 2012. So that's a good long time. And I've been a member for about 7 years. I'm not sure. So we have a wide variety of artists, and we have a ceramic artist, we have photographer, we have encaustic artists, painters, oil painters, watercolorists, and the gamut. Today we're here especially because Susan Rostow has been the juror for this show and has done an incredible job. Personally, I participated in hanging it. Paul Kemmering, you could wave your hand, he was helper, and Jeff Miller, I don't know if he's here or not. The other members of the gallery that are here to honor you are, can you shout out because I don't always see you? Phyllis, there you go. Phyllis
Melissa's here.
Chillingford,
Melissa Rubin.
Melissa Rubin,
Hi, everybody.
and anyone else from the gallery?
Yeah. Joan Walton.
Joan Walton, thank you, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, so,
Jeff Cash, I'm new.
okay. Jeffrey's here, and congratulations to Jeffrey because he is our newest member.
Woo!
Yes. So I'd like to introduce Susan. You probably all read her little bio, but I will read it to you again. She's a Brooklyn-based artist who does multimedia things through printmaking and sculptural books, 3D wall installations, and animation. She explores the effects of time and nature's cycles and is currently an artist in residence at the New York Historical Society. Are you still that, Susan?
No.
That's
That
some
lasted
old
for about a week.
Okay, all right. And her work has earned her a New York Council of the Arts and a NIFA Artist Fellowship in Printmaking, Drawing, Book Arts, and a Paula Krasner Grant. In addition to Susan's active career as an exhibiting artist, she has made a major contribution to the printmaking community worldwide by inventing Akua printing inks. Congratulations. And I'd like to share the floor or the screen with Susan.
Thank you. And I must say it was a great, great pleasure to jury this show. And I appreciate all the submissions, and I thank all the artists for applying, and I appreciate the artists, members at Atlantic Gallery for inviting me to do so. The theme paper is so wide that when I had 800 images to look at, my first concern and goal was to put together a very cohesive show. But as you know, all the variations that can be done with paper and all the concepts and everything, I just felt, well, we have to go with this. And by going with it and seeing all the variations and the possibilities, I think that the show is fantastic. And I think I owe a lot to that, the way the installation happened. Thank you, Ronnie and Paul and Jeff. I think you did a fabulous job because the work is so diverse. To pull it together, I think it really looks beautiful. I'm very pleased. We have work there that is from tea bags to coffee filters to seaweed to traditional Western papers, to Eastern papers, to handmade, to machine made, sculpture, wall pieces, relief pieces, all types of printmaking. And I really like the idea of pulling it all together. And there were so many great entries. And it was really a wonderful, wonderful experience to have, to be able to look at everybody's work. And I really, really appreciate that opportunity. So I'd like to hear from the artists, and I really would like to see the show. Unfortunately, I did not go to see the show. And I'm just so grateful that we have this opportunity to Zoom it and meet the artists. So thank you so much, everybody.
Bravo, bravo. And I think Martha is going to take us on a tour right now. Do you want to?
This first one is by Alejandro Borges. Not sure if he's here today.
Yeah, I'm here. Hello, everybody.
Hi, great.
The second one is by Helena Waldsley. She said she was going to be here. Not sure if she's here right now. She's located in Canada.
I'm here.
Can you move it? Can you hold the screen like vertical so we could see this? Whoop. I guess it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Okay. Oh, now that's better.
This one is by Rosalind Driscoll.
Rosalind here.
This one is by Barbara Grow.
It's a drawing.
This one right here is by Deborah Friedman.
Watercolor.
This book right here is by Julie Leonard.
Can you turn a page? It's a lovely, delicate thing. Nice.
This one right here is by Adam Pitt. This one right here is by Amanda Barrow. Coffee filter piece with coffee beans is by Locus. I don't want to butcher the name. Ziotong Chen.
Go by locus. It's easier.
Okay, locus. It's a great piece.
This little piece right here is by Alicia Finger.
Wonderful 3D.
This one is by Andrea Bergay. This one right here is by April Flanders.
I'm here from the mountains of Western North Carolina.
Great.
This one right here is by Leslie Baker. Oops, sorry. This tree trunk made of paper is by Rihanna Boville.
Show the whole pedestal because it's amazing. Is she here?
Don't know if she's here yet. She said she was going to be here.
Hi, I am here. It just took me a while to figure out how to unmute.
Oh, it's great.
This
Thank
piece
you.
right here is by Julie Hopkins.
I'm here.
Great.
This piece right here is by Anne Elliott.
Susan, compared to the way you saw the images on the small little thumbnails that you saw, how does that compare to how you're seeing them now? Not in person, actually, but
I think the size relationship to each piece is very exciting because when I viewed them, I had one image at a time,
right,
and I had to imagine the size.
right.
But seeing them together and in an environment, it's really exciting. I'm so happy with it.
This piece right here is by Joanne Luongo, made out of tea bags.
Also being able to see the angles, it adds another dimension.
This piece right here is by Loes Scheppens. She's an international artist. I believe she's from the Netherlands. This piece right here is from Marianne Pettit. cutout. This piece right here is by Gabriel Feld.
Here. Hi.
Hi.
That's tape, adhesive
Yeah,
tape.
masking tape. Stormy Brandiger. This piece right here is by Marjorie Fedson.
I'm here from Minneapolis.
Well, thank you. That came with very specific instructions on hanging, which we appreciated.
One second. This piece right here is by Kara Greenwell.
Hi all, I'm happy to be here from San Diego.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it shows San Diego.
This piece right here is by Ioana Yanola.
Nice.
This piece right here is by Joanne Lobatsky.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Joanne.
Martha, can we see the three little ones on the pedestal?
I'm gonna go around.
Oh, you are? Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you.
This piece right here is by Nicole Asselin and Leslie Smith. It's a collaborative piece.
You're here.
Really fun.
This one is by Linda Suskin Cosmer.
I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi, congratulations. It's great.
Next is by Patricia Boulay.
I'm here in Montauk on the east end of Long Island
Oh,
by the ocean.
oh, there are two other people from Montauk
I'm
there.
a
right now.
Montaukers here, and so is Phyllis.
Yeah.
That's great.
This next piece is by Stephanie Damoff.
That's the seaweed?
Yeah, the handmade seaweed. This piece is by Karen Bruckner.
Hi.
Hi, Karen. Nice.
This next piece is by Anne Silverman.
Can you show the top more? Yeah, it's like a part of a trunk, I think.
Trunk of old papers, yeah. Hello. Yeah. This piece right here, these three little pieces, is by Salinas Aragon.
Hello, I'm from Florida.
Hi. Well, that does look a little underwater-ish.
This piece right here is by Josie Rodriguez.
This is wax, by the way. I want to narrate. And we have visitors, as I see. Good.
I'm from San Diego. Hi.
Hi. Oh, two from San Diego.
And this last piece in the front of the gallery is by Deborah Ergowitz.
Ugoretz.
Ugoretz.
Everybody.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You missed one, Martha.
Which one?
The book.
The one that goes around.
Oh, yes. Okay, I'll go back to that one.
It's a great piece.
All cut paper.
Yes,
Oh.
and wire.
Sorry for the one I skipped, is Mary Sherwood Brock.
It's great. They all make me kind of happy. Congratulations,
Beautiful.
everyone.
Great.
Thanks,
What
Martha.
I'm gonna do next is I'm going to have a slideshow, and each artist, when you see your slide pop up, if you'd like to say something about it, tell us where you're from, and go on from there.
Good.
1 second.
And it doesn't have to be 5 minutes. It could be 1 minute or 2 seconds.
Hold on 1 second.
Hello, I'm from Florida. This series is kind of about nostalgia, and I was working with memories from when I was little and going to the aquarium and the big like walkway underwater. But yeah, so these are watercolor on paper sculptures.
Thank you.
Very nice, beautiful.
Nicole, are you here?
Yes, sorry, it took us a minute to unmute. We live in Central North Carolina, and this is collaborative work. Nicole is a textile artist, and I'm a book artist, and so this was sort of us coming together with fibers, and her teaching me indigo dyeing, and basically marking our time during COVID. This is sort of our harvest, what we took in and made, and put by. Sort of, we thought about it like canning and putting things by during the pandemic.
And it's all 100% local harvested fiber that we found in our neighborhood. A banana, somebody cut down one of their banana trees, and then we also harvested linden fiber and branches and processed it. So everything in the work of art is 100% local and foraged and done during COVID.
Bravo. Fantastic. Great.
Leslie Baker. Leslie Baker here.
Oops. Maybe she doesn't want to talk.
I'm not sure, but I will just read off.
Is that an encaustic piece?
I think it is.
It's a monotype mounted on panel, sealed with matte acrylic medium, part of a series of 12 depicting the seasons.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Amanda Barrow. Thought I saw her. Are you here?
Amanda?
She was here.
Hello.
Yes, unmute.
Can you see me?
Can we see you or not? You don't want to? Yes, you can speak. But you have to unmute. Martha, can you unmute?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Amanda Barrow, and this is the ABC series. And the letter Q is in this wonderful exhibition. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity for being involved with this exhibition. These are all works on paper where I collage silk, fabrics, cotton, paper, and I usually try to recycle old prints and use Sumi ink and Akua inks to do monotype printing on top of and underneath and all around the each letter. The two pieces on the right are 22 inches high by 30 inches wide. and I'm employing a letter X on the top one and the letter O on the bottom one.
Very
So
nice.
that's my new direction, and I'm super excited.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you. Alejandro?
Hello, everybody. I'm Alejandro Borges. I'm from Caracas, Venezuela. I've been living in Texas for the last 6 years, and I'm a design and visual communication studio professor at Texas A&M. My hybrids and projection series are based on the notion of cross relationships between architecture, art, psychology, and biology. I explore concepts such as light, shadow, projection, transformation, and sublimation from both architectural and psychological perspectives through different media like drawing, painting, collage, and assemblage that sort of become mechanisms of mediation between different interpretations of culture and spatial investigations, particularly from Carl Jung's theories, where they coexist in a series of dichotomies such as order, chaos, individual, collective, subject, object, rational, irrational, and conscious, unconscious. And this piece is a graphite ink, watercolor, and Prismacolor on paper, and is part of one of those sort of investigations about collision of and juxtaposition of different elements within the
Wow.
painting or the drawing.
I almost thought it was a photograph of a sculpture.
It's a hand drawing.
Beautiful.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's such a cool opportunity for me. And I'm planning to visit the gallery before it closes.
Oh, great.
Yeah, hopefully next week.
Oh, nice. Good.
Forward to
Thank you.
Patricia?
First of all, thank you so much for Susan for putting together this amazing show. And the experience of being in quarantine in New York City, in Chelsea, my neighborhood, which is just down the street from the gallery, was an amazing experience because not only was I sort of a prisoner at home, my studio in Brooklyn was closed, my supplies were all there, but I managed to get my HP printer out and bring it home. But at the same time, things were happening, the streets were quiet, I was able to go out with my camera. I was able to find things on sidewalks and look at nature kind of creep back into Manhattan, which was with birds coming back and seagulls flying around my neighborhood. And it was just a powerful experience. And I did a series, one a day, of prints that were layered one on top of another with 2 or 3 layers of imagery. I totally failed at Photoshop, so I just gave myself simple rules to just not really negotiate these images. They had to work as they were printed. They were quick. They were a way of surviving and absorbing what was going on, and it was a daily creation. A very interesting experience. I don't think I've ever worked on a long-term series that just kept happening every day. So it was a wonderful experience. And I was fascinated by light, the underwater bubbles, and the translucency of the glove against the sky, which was still underwater. That's about it. Thank you.
Really great. Terrific. Thank you.
Yana?
Hi. So this piece is a cast paper log, and I used second cut cotton linters for pressing into the molds that I made. But it was inspired by my time here in Columbia, Missouri. And I had started researching forest bathing a couple years ago while I was in graduate school. And I was really taken by how going into the woods and really opening up your senses to everything around you really had this transformative effect. So I started going into the woods and really starting to pay attention to things. And I was really taken by the trees that were decomposing. And I started to see how the bark would just kind of fall off these trees and land in little piles. And then one day I was walking through the path and I saw one of these pieces of bark like right in front of me. So I picked it up and brought it home, and that was kind of how this body of work all began. And I slowly, over about a year, kept bringing home little pieces of bark. And then I had a friend at Penland School of Craft who taught me how to make plaster molds out of these pieces, and that's how it all began. And then for the top, there was a tree that fell in my backyard after a storm, so I cut off a little segment. And if you burn the top of a tree, all the soft bits kind of get burnt, and then the end grain is raised, so you can make a nice block print from it. So I think of this work as more of a collaboration with nature, and it's kind of an ode to the conservation area that I live near. That's where all the materials came from.
Absolutely fantastic. Great.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
I can do this from different angles.
These are all wonderful. Stormy, are you there?
So good.
Stormy. Stormy's not there?
I don't think so. A mixed media piece by Stormy.
Isn't it watercolor?
She listed it as mixed media.
Oh, okay.
It's probably acrylic and watercolor.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Karen Bruckner.
Yes, I'm here. I'm muted. Yeah, I mean, this show really is a beautiful gem, I have to say. I'm from New York, from the Upper West Side. It's been great to finally meet Susan Rostow, quote unquote, in person. I've worked with Aqua inks for many years, and I use them with my students in my class. This is for Paper Hound. There couldn't be a better show than this. I love working with paper, always did. I'm an architect by training, and was drawn to printmaking later on in life. And what I love about printmaking is the many ways in which you can explore the malleability of paper. This piece, which you don't really see which you would see better if you saw it up close, has a beautiful embossing in it. Which is achieved by running a laser cut piece of vinyl mat through the printmaking press. And not only does it print beautifully, it also leaves a remarkable embossing. And so the background of this piece is two prints overlaid with each other. One is the imprint that was left on the plate, which is the pink part in the back. And then the piece on top is the actual vinyl mat printed on top of the plate print. And then I was experimenting with some pieces, and that's another thing that I love about printmaking is the happy accident. What is mounted on top of this thing is a piece of newsprint that I ran the vinyl mat through the press with. You put the newsprint on top to protect your blankets and also make sure that you don't get ink everywhere. And as I was peeling it off the other side of the press, once I peeled the blanket back, the newsprint had not only picked up the silver ink, but through the embossing, there was a lot of pressure there. It had started to disintegrate, and it was one of those moments that I love about printmaking. When you look at what you get at the other side, I thought, it's like, oh my God, this looks fantastic. I need to find a way to incorporate that in something. So I decided to add a third layer to that piece that was already started underneath, and I mounted the piece of newsprint on top. Since it was printed with oil ink, so the newsprint is actually has a protective layer of oil ink on it, so it will, since it's obviously not archival, will be preserved better. And then some of the cutout pieces from an earlier piece, which are the orange pieces that you see as the fourth layer that weave in and out of the newsprint, is reusing pieces that kind of broke off or were punched out. So I'm trying to literally use every level of material option that the printmaking process and the material that hands me here. And the narrative usually evolves as I'm printing this thing. So I tied the vinyl piece back into the paper with Japanese embroidery yarn, and I called it Holding Together, Torn Apart. And a part of the pieces that I've been working on during the pandemic that kind of deal with the tornness, the brokenness, the rippedness, and ways in dealing with it and finding a way to work with what you have around it during being confined at home.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Wonderful. Andrea?
Not sure if she's here.
Andrea is not here.
This is titled Fields. It's a collage of magazine pieces on layered magazine pages.
Beautiful. Okay.
Next is Locus.
Hi everyone, this is Lopez. I'm based in Brooklyn, New York. So this book is a book made of used coffee filters. I've been collecting the used coffee filters in my household since 2019. I've been collecting them for a while and not knowing what to do with them. And throughout time, I came up an idea I should bind them into a very simplistic artist book. So here it goes. And I also made some the book covers for the book. They are coffee beans pasted on mylar. Mica sheets, and the book is bound with a single wire wrapped with Japanese paper, and also I drilled holes in coffee beans and decorated the wire with the coffee beans, just as like suggestion, another layers of suggestion about this, the materiality.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
So in the image on the left, is that a different book?
The image on the left, they are the same book.
Same, but on the smaller image has the brown stain on the edge of the book. Is that?
I think it has to do with the way it's flipped. I think this
one. Yeah,
the
I
lighting.
kind of organized the filters from lighter to darker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe this one is, they're just the back and front is flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you can see the back.
It's really great. Yeah.
Thank you.
Stephanie.
Stephanie here.
This piece is titled Elemental. It's handmade seaweed. rhodium fragile paper.
Great.
Rosalind Driscoll.
Hi. I have a series of images here that I thought would be fun to tell the story. I live in Western Massachusetts, and during this last year, I found myself not drawing. I'm a sculptor, and I was drawing, instead of drawing something in order to make it, I drew it after I'd made the sculpture as a way to understand what I was doing and what it might hold and kind of move it forward in other artworks. So the first image on the upper left is the sculpture from which I drew the following drawings. It's made of rawhide, rope, and wire. The second image is of the first drawing I made of the sculpture, which kind of is faithful to the sculpture in terms of the forms and the lines. And the next drawing, I ended up, because I was using rope in the sculpture, it was a natural move to use rope as a drawing tool. And here it's looping around on Chinese paper. As I laid it on the paper, the paper kind of absorbed the paint in interesting ways. And then further layering in the next lower left image, the rope drawing is underneath, and on top of that, I laid vellum paper with drawing on that, so with chalk and charcoal and ink. So they're sort of starting to layer, and the layers are getting deeper. The next drawing is another of that sort with a rope drawing underneath, and then a layer of the vellum drawing, pencil and ink. And then on top of that, another drawing with a white chalk, so that the dimensions start to be more complicated and more depth and illusion. The last drawing, with the big one, which is in the show, is the same kind of process of the deepest layer being the rope drawing, and then the next layer of vellum is another rope drawing, and then another layer of pencil and ink drawing, and then on top of that, more of the white chalk. And in this case, I didn't glue down the vellum, so that the layers are sort of, they float away from each other, creating kind of very interesting, it sort of appears, you can see in places you can see behind, and in other places you can't. So there's a kind of variety to the depth and transparency. And this was all really COVID related, the quarantine, because of the isolation and the sense of a kind of inward turning, which I think most of us have experienced in one way or another, so that enabled a kind of digestion and metabolizing of what I was making, going back into other layers and deepening my investigation of both drawing and paper.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Absolutely terrific. Thank you, Rosalind.
Hi, I'm here, Ann Elliott. Should I just start speaking?
Yeah, sure. We can hear you.
Okay, I have my video on too. Anyway, this relief actually is made of rice paper, and which is glued to rag paper, supported by rag paper behind it. And it's based on the Magao caves on the Silk Road, way west in China, a series of caves that were carved into the living rock. And then it's Buddhist inspired, religious inspiration. And then the caves were painted with frescoes, and also sculptures of the Buddha and other images inside. And there's a whole that goes on, there are numerous ones. And there are ramps that connect them at different levels. And it's really sort of exciting to go exploring there. So this is what inspired this. You can see the stairs and the caves. But my idea is not to make it a representational of the site so much as the feeling of the site and the energy of the natural formations coming together with the energy of the human endeavors and a kind of religious fervor that made these caves. And so that's what I did. This is one of a series of maybe 15 or 16 that I did of the caves. And yes, so it's rice paper. And I'm inspired by nature and patterns of human behavior, but also just paper itself. And I love to work with paper. I paint it, stain it, cut it, tear it, glue layers out from the walls. I suspend it in shapes from the ceilings. And in short, I kind of draw with paper. It's really, paper is sort of my medium.
Wonderful. Where are you calling from, Anne?
Oh, I'm in Princeton, New Jersey.
Oh, okay.
I have my video on. I guess I'm not.
Yeah, we see you. We see
Oh,
you.
you see me. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Next is Marjorie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Martha, for all the work you did to get us organized and get me organized. I appreciate that. And thanks, Susan and Ronnie as well, and everyone at the Atlantic Gallery. This piece is Flow, part of a series, a Flow series. And I learned about overbeaten abaca paper in 2017 when I was at Haystack studying in the fiber studio. The paper studio is right next door, and the group of artists that were working in overbeaten abaca. And I found it to be so intriguing. I didn't know anything about paper making at the time, but the way that it shrank in the skin-like quality once it dried was so engaging for me that I asked if I could use some of it in the fiber studies I was doing there. And then when I got back to Minneapolis, so I've lived in Minneapolis for about 30 years now, but I grew up on the East Coast and lived in New York for a while. We have the Minnesota Center for the Book Arts, and they have paper making studio, print making studio, and book making classes. And so I was able to learn a little bit about paper making through the Center for the Book Arts. And then I received a grant to go and study with master paper maker Jocelyn Chateauvert, who works exclusively in overbeaten abaca. And so for a week I studied with her and learned everything, and then came back and really dove into paper making. So that was just a year and a half ago. And so flow has to do with the water that I cross. I cross the Mississippi every day on my way to the studio, and the changing moods and dynamics of the river has always been something I've focused on, probably more than I should be while I'm driving, but it is something I'm always drawn to water. And flow kind of tells the story of the water, but also most of my work is abstracted stories of my past. So I create narratives, abstract narratives about historical events from my childhood, or even just from a few years ago. So but I draw from my past. I tend to choose methods and processes that are methodical and meditative, and paper making is certainly that. I come from a fiber arts background, so hand stitching and felting preceded my work in paper making. And so all of those meditative processes keep me kind of centered and sane in my endeavors as an artist.
Very interesting to hear about that. Thank you. And they are beautiful.
Thank you.
It is beautiful. And it does look flowing. Okay.
Gabriel.
I'm Gabriel Feld. I'm in Providence, Rhode Island, and I'm delighted to be in this show. What I'm realizing is that the show is not only a testimony of the possibilities, expressive possibilities of paper, but in some degree is a testimony of working during the pandemic. And this is the case with this thing that I submitted. I do a lot of my work is in printmaking, and during the pandemic, I couldn't have access to my printmaking studio. So I'm here, figuring out what to do, and then I start to play with painter's tape, and I start to do things. And so in a way, I'm always very interested in materials. I'm very interested. I don't think of form as the result, let's say, of a very deliberate way of, let's say, organizing things, but more as working with my hands and with the material and trying to find ways in which the material, as is manipulated, develops particular form. And I would have never imagined that I would end up working with tape or doing things with tape, but for the last few months, I've been doing these kinds of experiments. Thank you.
Beautiful, thank you. Where are you calling from, Gabriel?
Providence, Rhode Island.
Oh, Providence, thank you. Wonderful.
Alicia.
Hi everyone. My name's Alicia. I'm a painter from Philadelphia. I started working with paper a couple years ago, and I kind of started developing a little bit into this process of kind of altering and reorganizing. I kind of reorganize everything all of the time, even like in my house. It's kind of just part of my personality. So with this, it's kind of the process of creating lots of paintings on paper and then altering those by kind of removing areas that I kind of deem maybe not as important anymore as I go through that process, and then kind of reorganizing them into these different layers, into these like kind of more smaller, intimate, three-dimensional kind of cut paper collages.
Very, very nice. Are they painted, or is that the color of the paper?
No, they're painted. So I do lots of paintings on paper. So it's kind of, I guess, a three-step process. I do lots of painting, and then I do lots of cutting, and then I do lots of organizing them. I usually work on a lot of them at once. So I have like a bunch of different ones, and they kind of change consistently. I would say I started this one originally probably like a year ago, and it's changed to being many different versions of what it is. And this is the most recent version.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, April Flanders.
Hi, everybody. I am here today from Boone, North Carolina, which, if you don't know where that is, you're not alone. I'm in the western part of the state. I'm in the mountains, and we're going to get a blizzard tomorrow. So I'm envious of your sun in New York.
I love Boone. It's got great hiking.
It is. It is. We're close to Penland, so I've heard some references to my area. This is a series of works. This is one of a series. Of course, my kids come in right when I'm starting to talk.
That's okay.
Out, guys, out. My kids are here all the time. Guys, out. There's a trampoline in here.
Real life.
They're going to be noisy. Seriously, be quiet, please. But so this is one of 6 pieces that I did during the pandemic, and it's a series called Concatenation. And concatenation means a series of interconnected things or events. And the series is working around the idea of kind of the aquatic environment and basically the interconnected nature of the aquatic environment. All of my work right now is addressing invasive species on a global scale, and I've been working with aquatic environments primarily, and these were done during the pandemic. They were kind of, even before the pandemic, these pieces were like my white whale. I was trying to resolve 2 different series, neither of which were working. And so when I finally finished them, along with keeping my kids every day and teaching studio art from my studio, I was really relieved, and I was just thrilled to be included in this show. And wanted to give a shout out to you, Susan Rostow, because I taught your inks from this room for the first time ever. So you saved my life. Couldn't teach lithography, but I taught jelly plates with the Akua ink. So thanks so much. It's great to be in such great company.
It's terrific. Thank you, April.
Deborah Friedman. I'm not sure if she's here. This piece is titled Ghost Road. It's a monoprint. Kara Greenwell.
Hi there.
Hi.
I want to say thank you to Martha and Susan and everyone at the Atlanta Gallery. I'm thrilled to be part of this beautiful show. I'm a San Diego-based mixed media painter, and this piece is called Stronger Than You Know. And it's really a reference to kind of the hidden depths that lie within all of us. I believe that the deep down is where our energy and our creativity springs. And so this piece encourages you to look through the layers to find the hidden strength. And it's a mixed media collage with recycled paper. There's magazines, handmade paper, scraps from my kids' art. I think there's a produce bag from limes in there. Pretty much everything, including the kitchen sink, lies deep down, and then it's covered in acrylic and spray paint and charcoal.
Terrific. Thank you. Great.
Barbara.
Hi, everyone. I'm Barbara Groh, and I live in Brooklyn. My studio is in my apartment here in Brooklyn also, which has been a very good thing during the pandemic. Then I've been able to keep creating work, but this particular piece in this series is not from the pandemic. It's when I was able to travel. So this is a Costa Rica beach series of they're black oil paint with solvent on taped off gesso surfaces on top of Strathmore paper. So as I'm a mixed media artist, I've worked in oil paint and acrylic and earth forms, cement and dirt and sand and brick. And so those materials appeal to me anyway. So to begin this process, I was actually fortunate enough to be in Tanzania. We were in Arusha, and we went to the Heritage Cultural Center in Arusha, and I saw I saw a wildlife artist's paintings, and he was doing just black oil paint with turpentine, depicting the most gorgeous wildlife forms, and I was so inspired by that. And I have done Sumi inks, and I have Chinese brushes, and I have Japanese brushes. So it wasn't new to me, but I remembered how I felt when I saw his work. So when I came back to Brooklyn, and I was looking for something to inspire me since I was new to Brooklyn, I had found this. I brought this little piece of clay. I don't know if you can see it because I can't see if I'm on the screen or not, but there's this small piece of clay that I found on the beach in Costa Rica, and that is what inspired this.
You could see it.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Ronnie. So I did 12 pieces called the Costa Rica series. And since I'm used to doing calligraphic work and meditative work, my goal for this was to express in the simplest forms and as quickly as possible. I mean, I wasn't rushed, but I didn't have any intention to keep working on the pieces. I taped it off. I worked with powdered graphite, the different blacks. I had Mars black and lamp black and ivory black, depending on how they tinted into the turpentine or the OMS. It really affected the color of the piece. And these are the expressions. So this is one of the 12. This is Costa Rica clay number 7. And my work is inspired by my travels in my immediate environment. So doesn't matter if I'm in Africa or Brooklyn, I try to find inspiration. And I want to say thank you to the Atlantic Gallery also, and also the artists. I was lucky enough to see the exhibition. Martha was great. She opened up the gallery for my girlfriend and I, and we got a personal tour through the show, and it was fabulous. It is fabulous.
Great. Thank you for joining us, Barbara. Beautiful drawing.
Really good. Thank you.
Julie Hopkins.
I'm here. Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. I live up in Westchester County. I'm a native New Yorker, but I'm living in Westchester, and I'm primarily a pastel artist and oil painter. However, a couple of years ago, I discovered doing mono printing, and I initially used oil-based inks and a reduction method. So that is what this is. However, I love to experiment. I love to experiment with different surfaces, papers, and methods of either applying paint, pastel, or the ink to a plate for printing. And so with this particular piece, I removed the ink and made my marks mostly using a credit card. So the result was, it was a perfect tool for making feathers. Draw. So I love the surprise behind doing printmaking, as someone else mentioned earlier, because everything's reversed and you don't often know how you're going to end up. So I had a lot of enjoyment in doing in the process of creating the plate for this print. And then I was very pleased with the credit card stroke results.
So it is a chicken sitting on a nest?
Yeah, it's called brooding, and it's a hen laying eggs on a thing of hay or a nest.
It's terrific.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Julie Leonard. Is she here? This piece is called A Reader. It's a paper binding, handmade papers, erasures, and plant inclusions. So I'm guessing she made the paper and had the flowers and the pieces of written paper all mixed in together. Because if you look at it, it's very thin. It doesn't look like it's glued together. It looks like it was really made to be like that, like all in one. Joanne Lobatsky.
Hi, I'm based in the Bronx, and first I'd like to say thank you to Susan, Ronnie, Martha, and everybody that helped put the show together at the gallery, and thanks for everybody for tuning in. I'm blown away by the show, Susan. It looks amazing. I haven't seen it in person yet, but it just really humbles me to have been the one to have received the award. It's kind of amazing to me. So I started exploring paper about a year ago. It's not something I've worked with. I was a painter before that, painting with a lot of texture, and I've also done mixed media work and textile work. But paper was new to me. I feel like a newbie. And I started doing collages during the early months of the pandemic because it was an easy thing to do. And I was using really the really exotic papers from like China, Thailand, India, Mexico, and they're beautiful. And I had a really hard time cutting them, you know, because I didn't want to destroy them, but I got over that. And paint kept creeping in because, you know, I had my previous body of work was with paint. And I realized, you know, that it's kind of stupid to use these beautiful papers. So I switched to heavyweight watercolor paper. And this is one of the first pieces that I did with that. And I realized that the paper could be easily bent, and it was so sturdy that, you know, there's no denting this paper. I mean, you'd really have to step on it to dent it. And I like that quality. So um, the way I think of it is that it's a painted collage, but it's broken through to 3 dimensions, so that the paintings become an object. And I think of the 3rd dimension actually as a type of texture, like a larger type of texture. So with my work, it's completely abstract. There's no illusions of space or depictions of reality. And the way I like to work, and the most interesting way for me to work, is to be open to exploring where my methods and materials take me. So there was no planning in this piece. I just started gluing things together. And that's the way that brings me the most joy. It brings me the most joy to work that way, not planning. And to see where things take me and the surprises and, you know, that result from that. So the way I work is really haphazard, the methods. And I feel that, and this is just on a personal level, but I feel kind of driven by my class roots, which are working class. I grew up on a farm. And I feel that the jury-rigged way that I put stuff together kind of springs from that. And it's kind of like defiant in a way, like even though my materials are just like common materials and everyday materials, I can make them look, and even though the way I put them together is imperfect, I can make them look interesting and even beautiful in spite of those facts, or maybe even because of them. So it's kind of like, I feel impelled a little bit by a little bit of a class rebellion, even though I'm sure that doesn't come through, and it doesn't need to come through. So there's texture on this piece, which I'm obsessed with. There's pumice and acrylic paint, the cardboard, of course, and then there's on top of it there's some of those exotic papers. It looks a little bit like hay in the photograph, but it's really a textured paper. And so as nature is a big source of inspiration to me, you know, from my background, I've come to see many of my recent collages as aerial views of landscape seen from above. And it's kind of after the fact. I'm not thinking about that when I put it together, but this piece is titled After the Rain. And I mean, you can imagine the curved pieces being valleys or hills, and the corrugated cardboard could be a plowed field, and the area above that maybe a path, and the curved blue shape might be a waterfall. But I mean, my work is abstract, and I think of my work as abstract, so you can go ahead and disregard that. But it is something I think about, and I have several bodies of work in the past that are directly influenced by Earth seen from above. Another thing that I've thought of recently is that my work, I feel that my work is trying to either break free of the rectangle or return to the traditional rectangle. And the curved pieces represent a kind of convulsion or struggle to achieve that goal.
Wonderful. It's beautiful, Joanne. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love hearing about it too. I love hearing about everybody's work. It's fantastic.
Joanne Luongo.
There.
This piece is called Jane's Way. It's tea quilt number 8. It's used tea bags, threaded quilt batting. Next is Marianne Petit. Is Marianne here? This piece is called the Affordable Anatomical Paper Cut Series, Pelvis. It's paper cut. She has a whole bunch of pieces that go with the series on various parts of the body. It's pretty interesting. Adam Pitt. This piece is called My Report. It's in intaglio woodcut. I'm not sure what it is. And next is Josie Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me and hear me?
Yes,
You
we
can.
can.
Okay. Thank you so much for the honor of being in this show. I live in San Diego, and I've worked in the medium of encaustic for at least about 20 years. And I teach from my home studio here in San Diego. What I enjoy most, I think, about encaustic is the unpredictability of the medium and also its versatility. This piece was actually inspired by a porcelain sculpture that I saw many, many years ago in Boston. And I made a sketch, I took a photograph, and didn't do anything with it for a long time. So I ended up making the very first piece out of a type of paper, and then this one is the second one. So I'm sort of on a roll with this series, and it's sort of a blanket series, and that's what this is a folded blanket. A lot of it, this was made during this pandemic, not so long ago. And it really speaks to me of warmth and coziness, loss, actually, memory and comfort. It has some ribbon that kind of comes through the top, and on the sides, there's kind of stuffed, not batting, but tissue paper to sort of look like to kind of make the blanket a little bit higher. The other piece that I had actually has names of people that I've lost that are in the sides of the blanket, much like the Wailing Wall. So that's I use a lot of different types of papers. No matter where I go on travels, which we have not been able to do very much lately, but I will always come back with some sort of paper that I will fold up or put in a roll and take on the plane with me. I think that's probably about it. I really am very much excited about like the versatility of encaustic and also the experimentation and the unpredictability of this medium. I wanted to show you too what this looks like, what this actually looked like. This is this Japanese paper that almost looks like, it looks like fabric to me. I don't know if you can see it, but this was dipped in wax, in a vat of wax, and it was left to rest and to dry, and then I folded them over. So that's it.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Loes Scheppen, she's the international artist who's in the Netherlands. This piece is called Lost in Tides, and it's flax and cotton paper. Next is Mary Sherwood Brock. Are you here, Mary?
Yes. Hi there. So I'm from Los Angeles. I am a painter, printmaker. I saw this call and I got very excited because Susan was being the juror, and I thought, oh, I could send something that's small. I do these small pieces that can be folded and kind of pulled out and be more sculptural. So I thought that would be really fun to participate if that was if I was lucky. And all of these prints, there's sort of little prints like this that then I put together to make them into a book. So I usually I used products at Akua and also your Collagraph. I made a Collagraph plate as well, and dry point. And then I usually cut up my plates. So a lot of times I'll have another print, one part of a print that I like, and I'll cut it up and put it into another. And then I also use paper lithography. So I kind of use a little bit of all of that: monoprint, Collagraph, intaglio, and lithography when I'm making my prints. So this particular project got started during COVID. I had several exhibitions. I was planning on traveling. Everything got canceled in March. And a call went out here in LA, a really wonderful organization. They did this thing called Call and Response, where they just put you together with another artist that you don't know online, and you just collaborate on something. And she was a very positive, very exuberant person, and she was doing color and flowers. And I got into an entire series of just sort of re-looking at all these flower plates that I had done when I was teaching. I used to, do dry point demos with my students, and I would do these little flower dry points that I almost never printed. So I started using them in my prints. So this kind of came out of that. And, I usually do a lot of surreal imagery in my work, but it also has a kind of odd scientific take. So the eyes on the flowers, which I do a lot in my work, is kind of from this thing I read where when they were talking about the evolution of the eye came from the same cells that flowers use to turn their heads towards the sun. It's a solar sensitive cell. And so I thought how interesting that is that, we use our eyes to communicate and plants use their blossoms to communicate. So I kind of put that all together, and that eyes were similar. And I had done another exhibition that was called Flower that was using the eyes that are in this print were from a larger installation that I had done. So, everything kind of comes from accretion. I kind of my work is layers on layers of other plates and processes, but I'm very happy to be in the show. It's such an interesting looking show. I wish I could travel and visit, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. And really happy to meet everybody. There's a few artists here that I know through their work, so it's really great to see them here on Zoom as well. So it's really.
Thank you so much. It's such an interesting piece.
And thank you, Martha, for your help. It was sort of a drama getting everything there.
No problem. Glad we were able to get it.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Next is Anne Corley Silverman.
Hi, I'm here in Central North Carolina, and I am very happy to be in the company of all of these wonderful artists. Thank you, everybody. I am driven and mostly by making my own paper. I find handmade paper just a seductive medium. This piece was made from pulp made from my grandmother's shredded journals. Why she wanted them shredded is another really long story. Some of the shreds are embedded in the paper. Some of that in the center that looks like calligraphy are really shreds from the journal. And the paper that is kind of coming out from the right side is handmade mulberry, which I grow and harvest and process, and that's so much of the features of paper that I really love. And anyway, that's that piece. I think everybody has a trunks that they open. Some of this is old work that has been altered and brought into the present and present unpacking.
Fabulous.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And it has wax on it as well, right?
Yes, yes, it is.
I forgot to mention that, but I
right.
hung it, so.
Yes, it is. It is definitely waxed on those two sides that you see.
Yeah, it's great.
And did your grandmother write, is this in English? And as it's shredded, because those characters look like otherworldly after it's
I
shredded.
know. Yes,
So
it is in
cool.
English.
That's so
and-
wild.
I thought it was a Chinese or something.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, when
I
you
love
hang them vertically, they look Asian.
Oh,
but
wow.
no, it's English.
That's fabulous. Great.
Next is Linda.
Wow.
Linda here.
Hi, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for choosing my work. I'm so thrilled to be part of this. So this was a series of collages that I was doing flat collages from old work, putting it with new work. And then I decided that I hated having them flat and I wanted to bring them off the wall. And at the same time, I wanted to make you, I don't know if you can see all the sides, but if you look at it straight on, it's a very narrow, thin kind of painting. And then from the right, it's very different. So I just like the idea of seeing one painting from three angles. Actually, it's a bargain. Got three paintings in one. I don't, you know, a lot of them is old, a lot of the collage work is old work that I wasn't working. I like parts of it. I just shredded them and put them together and added some new things. So it's old and new, and some, you know, some paintings are from 10, 15 years ago. Others are very recent. So I think
Looks great on the wall.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm calling here from Central New York State.
Oh.
And it's very cold. It was 0 degrees this morning.
Oh. Wow.
Not as cold as Brooklyn.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Next is Helena.
Wow.
Hi, first I want to say thank you to Susan and Martha and everyone else at the gallery. It's such an honor to be a part of this show. I'm in Vancouver, Canada. And so this piece is called Silken Smokestack. And so it's a reference to where my father comes from. He comes from a small town that was known for silk weaving. And so this is woven mulberry paper. So mulberry trees are what silkworms live on. And the yarn, so the warp part, the vertical strings that you can just barely see, I did that with airy silk. Airy silk is cruelty-free silk. And then, yeah, so the smokestack is just, so there's weaving and then there's the smokestack, because when you go to that town, that's kind of what remains, these large brick smokestacks. And then the pattern, there's kind of a floral pattern on it that's based on like what a jacquard loom would have produced. And then, yeah, so it's charcoal and graphite and silver pigment, which you can just barely see.
Wow.
That's it.
And it's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
And it's as light as a feather.
It is.
Huh.
Deborah.
Hi. First, can you see me?
We can't see you.
Okay, well, that's.
Oh, now we see you.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you for accepting my work into the show. Sometimes it's very hard for me to get work into a show because my work some of my work sort of straddles the line between craft and fine art. And a work in cut paper, a work in paper, drawn on paper is like the perfect show for my kind of work. So this particular piece, well, I do a lot of cut paper work. I'm really interested in negative and positive space, how they inform each other, how they provide balance and structure. And I'm also kind of intrigued by the idea that negative space holds deep, profound meaning, and it's just as important as what you see. What you don't see is just as important as what you do see. So this particular piece is was inspired actually by Psalm 27, which is about how my enemies surround me and God provides a sanctuary. So so that's basically what this piece is about. And you can kind of generalize it to our situation, human situation, which is we are filled, our worlds, our lives are filled with chaos and uncertainty. And we all need some sort of sense of sanctuary, a place to meditate and feel safe. So that's what this piece is about.
And it is beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you for, you know, I think this might have been the last piece that was accepted in the show. I don't know, Ronnie, if that's true, but it's like sort of first in, first out. It's right at the entrance to the show, and it just looks so amazing. Plus, it was supposed to be hung on the wall, and we had hardware issues, and the post office lost my hardware. And,
oh no.
Anyways, Ronnie, thank you very much. It looks beautiful where how it's set.
Yeah, I thought it was really great.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Susan and Martha and the other hangers.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Next is Iowana. Is Iowana here? This piece is called To Be a Slave, to Be Abused and Bear It. It is ink on paper, cardboard, duct tape, glass wire, parchment tracing, clear acetate, and wood.
Small, powerful piece.
Mm-hmm. And I think this is the last one.
That's it?
That was the last piece?
That's the last piece.
Oh, great.
Wow.
Wow, bravo, artists. You
What a wonderful show. Bravo.
This was like so incredible to actually see the artists and see the work together and talking about their work. It was, I can't tell you how exhilarating it was. I'm so happy to have been a part of this show. So I just wanted to let Susan, if she's still here.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Susan. Everybody probably knows the winner, but maybe you could just have a little fanfare and
Joanne Lobatsky. We are very pleased to announce that you are the winner, and I really look forward to seeing your show and all of your work together.
Thank you so much. I'm so honored. I can't get over it.
Joanne is going to have a solo show at Atlantic Gallery for a week, and we don't exactly know when that will be, but she'll have some input and feedback and let us know what's good for her and what's good for us and what we have available and so forth. And so in closing, I would like to invite everyone here to apply for membership in the gallery, because we are open for membership. We have a small amount of artists, and that's somewhat intentional because we like every one of our artists has a solo show. And it's pretty amazing and fantastic place. And we also have members who are far away. We have a member who is in Paris and one who's in, or two who's in California. And so do not let your location dissuade you from applying to the gallery. And if you need any information about that, you can look at our website or you can call the gallery and talk to Martha, and she would be happy to give you some more information. Does anyone have anything else to say?
I have a question. Would we be able to get, is it possible to have a catalog of everything, of all of our work? The show was that something that was going to be discussed?
Well, Martha did make a catalog, which I think she sent everyone, and that was a virtual catalog.
Yeah, the virtual.
Did you not get one, Josie?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'll send it to you again. I sent it out to everyone in the beginning of January, I think, but I'll send it again.
Okay, please do. Yes, thank you. So is that something then that I can print out, or is that something that I can send to?
Yeah, you can send it to your mailing list if you would like.
Okay, yes, please do. Thank you.
Okay.
I didn't get one either.
You didn't? I'll send it out again to everyone.
Okay, great. Okay.
I would just like to comment that it's so wonderful to meet other artists who are obsessed with paper.
Yeah, we're all obsessed with something.
That's
right. That's who we are.
Some of it illegal, yeah. No, kidding, totally kidding. But actually, while I have the mic, I'm Paul Kimmerling. I'm a member of the gallery. I just want to say how lucky we are to have Martha. Martha has done so much work before, during, and after to make this happen, and especially facilitating this today. Martha, this has just been tremendous. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
thank you, Martha.
You are great.
I want to say the same thing.
This whole thing has been great. I would like to make a toast to all of you.
Thank you, Martha and Ronnie. This was very special to have this opportunity to see all the artists, know where they're from, and hear them talk about their work. So I really
I just want to say, as a member of the gallery, this is the first time we've done this. And it's a real success. I think it's really great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Really great.
Yeah.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Josie.
Well, hopefully we'll do it again.
Yeah, it's great. I think it should be done all the time.
It's funny because New York doesn't seem that far away now.
Yeah.
I know. It feels like you're in our living room for good.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's
That's
really, I'm really
really
happy we did this.
It's
And
great.
what a fabulous show. Really, I'm very impressed with all the work. It's incredible. You know, juried shows, you never know how they'll go, you know, but this one is a gem. Really, really well done, everybody. And Susan, of course, you know, your eye for picking the work. It's beautiful.
Well, there was so much good work. So
Yeah.
That's great.
So I also, at this moment, I guess is a good moment to announce that we're going to have another juried show. And I'm sure everybody will want to submit something. But it's going to be, some of you already do this, but it's going to be about wax.
Oh.
Be on the lookout for the next call. It'll be in the
Right.
summer show.
It's going to be in July, and hopefully we'll be out of our cages by then.
Yeah.
Or somewhat. But the call is going to go out in mid-February, and it'll be anything wax, 3-dimensional, encaustics, cold wax medium, anything like that. And Jerry McLaughlin is going to be the juror. So there you go. Hope to see you again on the screen, all of you, at our next juried show.
Thank you.
Thanks
again
for
for
all of you
organizing
for
this.
coming.
Thank you.
It was awesome hearing from all you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.